when I started doing mindfulness, it wasn't what you would traditionally call mindfulness work. Okay. It was shamanic work. And then when I started going after my degree in psychology, and part of that practice was traditional mindfulness, I realized that traditional mindfulness did not work for me. It's the reason why watching someone like Steve Noble, right, where I'm listening to this guided meditation works and it's very woo. Someone needed to hear that. Somebody maybe needed to hear that name. Or the fact that it's very spacious. Okay. It wasn't until I think it might have been my second mindfulness course. And the instructor said to me, um, you know, you don't feel safe in your body. That is why when you go into traditional meditation, you are disassociating because you're going into your body. And then in my Kabbalah course, the instructor was telling me, yeah, some people do better going outward first before going inward. And I was like, oh, this is starting to make sense. And so then by the time, I'm several years in to my degree and I am taking classical tantra, not like sexual tantra that we like think that of tantric as being, but classical tantra, I realized, oh, there's actually like these ancient practices, which I was already doing when I was doing the shamanic work. There's actually these ancient practices where we are looking into the spaciousness. And in a way, that is connecting us to our bodies. And so there is not a one size fits all solution for mindfulness. And I think a lot of people need to hear that, especially those of us that are survivors of body-based trauma, okay, which can be a number of things. Body-based trauma can be a lot of different things, okay? So if you are feeling like when you try to sit and you're just supposed to not think, and you're just supposed to be friends with your body, and you're like, there's no way I can't do that. You might not be ready for that. Okay, it's true. You may need to go outward before you can go inward. And I think that we need to place the name on that because there is so much that we put into somatic practice, and the body keeps the score, and it's, your body knows the answers. And sometimes your body's still terrified, okay? And you may not be able to put your body at ease. And so what I want you to know is that there are other practices that you can do that can help you get there slowly. And I think that's important to know because, and sorry, ADHD, I'm talking to you and I'm looking over there and I'm like, has that crack always been in the wall? Can't help it. It's how the mind works. And exactly as what I'm speaking to, that is how the mind works. The mind is trying to protect you. There's so much in terms of neurobiology that we know, but there's also so much about neurobiology that we don't know. And so sometimes the greatest answers come to us, yes, through talking. That's why coaching is like so valuable. That's why talk therapy is so valuable, because when we're talking things through, sometimes we get those aha moments. But there's also this aspect that the answers come to us in just magical ways if we allow it to. There are things that I wrote in my journals for my shamanic work, which we're tapping into the same DMT you do when you are doing plant medicines without even having to do plant medicines, okay? That is what the rattle is doing. That is what the drum is doing, okay? It's all available in our little brains, okay? But there's also so much we do not know about our brains. And that is the truth. And that is just where we're at right now. I feel like Pluto and Aquarius is going to bring a lot of new technologies, and they may not be used for the best things until we get into Pluto in Pisces. Okay, sorry, we need Neptune for that. Neptune is doing a little fine tuning right now, so thank you. But there's a lot that we don't know, and there's a lot that I feel like we think is woo and we think is too non-traditional. And the one thing that transpersonal psychology has taught me is that it isn't just woo. And this is why all of these ancient indigenous peoples, they already knew the answers, okay? And we turned it around and we created Western psychology, which does have its place. There are things that Western psychology has brought to the table that are fantastic. But there is a lot that Western psychology has brought to the table that is just continuations of colonization. And we need to get back to some of those basics, and we need to understand them so that we can understand ourselves.